Okay, what's up guys? So I'm back. I'm gonna do a little bit more. I'm gonna do 2 hours. I'm gonna go till 5. It's 3 o'clock now, so I already have it set back up. 10:50 to 12:05 we finished solving the circular import bug. Moved custom time list assignments to set up by removing them from game and then 12 or not, it's 2:55 to whenever we finish. It's probably gonna be like 5 o'clock. Alright, so what we have to do now, we reviewed this already. Let me just give it a double stamp real quick of approval. Look over it again. Below section created 8:26:24. Move this here due to circular import issues. Originally this was in game pi, but since we had to start importing game into custom time list, we could no longer do this, and that is indeed the truth. Okay, and adjust my little armrest thing. It's way better now. Okay, so then we have p1 game.clickable card list equals custom time list name equals clickable card list. That's correct. Time adders dict equals p1 game dot game time lists dicts. That's correct. And then ID equals p1 game dot ID. Correct. And then p2 clickable card list custom time list, same thing but p2. So that's correct. So this one gets our double stamp. This one gets the double stamp approval. P1 game clicked cards list custom time list name clicked cards list time adders dict equals P1 game time list dicts ID equals P1 game ID. Okay, and then we have P2 game clicked cards list custom time list clicked card list time adders dict equals P2 game time list dicts, and then ID equals P2 game ID. Okay, yep, so that's correct. So now we need to go check out this game time list dict, and I really hate that name. It's so bad. Honestly, it's just terrible. It's just terrible, honestly. Make sure it's working. Yep, it's working. Alright, so we're gonna, let's see, find this game time. There it is. Try to put it on my face. Game time list dicts equals, so this is a dictionary, clickable card list as the key. The value is the time. It's this is going to be the timestamp, so it's in a float value. Then we have clicked cards list, same thing. Time clicked cards list. I'm gonna change the name of this because I absolutely hate it. It's gonna be gonna be time list dict. Time list dict. Yeah. So it's just gonna be time list dict. We'll call them time list. Call it the time list dict, because they are custom time lists. Time list dict. That's perfect. That name, I don't like it. It's not good. I still don't like this one, but it is what it is. It's gotta be reflective of what it represents, and that is what it represents. So now we're just gonna go through. Alright, so that's done. Now we need to verify that it works correctly. So let's look for all these instances where okay, right here, let's see. If their share is equal to game and receivable is equal to true, others clientable is equal to false. Their share is game, receivable is true, so this one we're receiving, it's game, and other clientable is false, okay. Cur game time clickable card list equal cur game time list dict clickable card list, and then cur game time click cards list equals cur game time list dict clicked cards list. Okay, so I see how that works. That's how we assign them. But alright, so I already know how this is gonna work. Whenever we assign the timestamp value, it's gonna assign it and then we're going to compare the associated timestamp against. Yeah, okay. Alright, I see. I understand that one. Now, okay, this is the dictionary. That's fine. I'm looking for when we actually assign. Okay, it's. Trying to think, when is that gonna be assigned? Probably in. Wait a second. So whenever we change the modify the list, like whenever we modify an attribute, that's when the associated timestamp is updated, if it has one, if it's in the time tube. So these though are custom list instances. So whenever we modify the list, that's supposed to be whenever the timestamp is updated, because that's the last time it was modified. So I would expect this to be inside of the append method, but I don't. And I don't see it inside of the pop or the clear. Let me see if I can find. Isn't that what I looked for though? Time clickable card list? Yeah, I looked for that. And the only place that we have it showing up explicitly anyway is here at the beginning of DirCheck, and this just assigns it to whatever is in the dictionary. Ah, okay. So it's, wouldn't it be assigned via the dictionary? I'm just trying to figure out where, like, what namespace do I have this executed under, or is this just not updated? Do we not update the timestamp? Because that's bad. That means we're assigning it to the dictionary value, but the dictionary value is supposed to be updated, and this is just pointing to the to this one up here. So if there's not another, and this is the original assignment, so when this is defined, this value is going to be literally like 0, and it's just going to remain to be 0. But let me look in the old, yeah, still the same. Okay, so this is an old feature storage. Okay, so this is the same thing. And we don't use the time dict anymore, but still, what about clicked, let me just see, clicked cards list. Let's see, what do we have for this one? This is the other one. Just to see, maybe it's one of the two for whatever reason. This is where we assign the dictionary. Okay, so either we're doing it by another namespace or it's not done. And I'm just trying to think, what namespace would we be doing this under? If not, I know we do like time plus 1,583 results. No way, dude. Okay, that's like 331 results. I can live with that one. I'm gonna try to find this in a different way. Okay, what's this? So this is, oh, okay, right. Yeah, alright, I'm tripping. There we go, I remember now. It's in data transfer function. That's where we take care of that. So data transfer function, I should have known that. A little rusty. Current time equals time ns. So this is where we assign the timestamp. And to avoid logic overhead, we always send it every time. Alright. But what do we do with the current time? Okay, so we add it to the cal tube. But don't we need that? This is used for when client-side changes are being made when being received on server side. And for time tube adders. So the time tube attributes, those timestamps are used to ensure that whenever we are receiving a incoming data point change for that particular attribute, that the data change that is being proposed to be applied is later than our local time tube timestamp. So okay, here we go. So whenever we change the attribute, if the game object is not equal to none, that means it is a time tube adder. Then if skeleton is an adder name string, well, or if it's not, then we do set adder of the game object. But the game, the attribute that we're modifying here is going to be time plus the adder name string. So if it's the clicked card list, then it would be time clicked card list. These timestamps are checked only on receive side during dir check at line 318 via if eval object dot time plus adder name string is greater than timestamp. Okay, let me pull that up. And this is gonna be, this is in client py, so client py dir check at line 318. We should just write it out like this: client.dir check at line 318 if eval object.time plus adder name string. So let me pull that up. Well, the lines have changed since we made this last comment, apparently. Okay, here we go. Right here. So it's actually if eval of object time dot time plus adder name string is greater than the receive timestamp float, which means if the local timestamp is greater or later, greater slash later, than the received timestamp, we do not want to apply data. So let me, so if the incoming receive timestamp float is less earlier than the local current timestamp, we do not apply ink data. Okay. Now that logic is fine, but what my question now is the adder name string. Is that gonna be okay? So the adder name string here has to be in the time tube. So the time tube uses the format for the namespace with skeleton. So it would be skeleton clickable card list and skeleton clicked cards list. Yeah, skeleton clickable card list and skeleton clicked cards list. So whenever it checks the value, so if the adder name string is considered to be skeleton with the skeleton portion of the string added to it. Oh yeah, seeing it's showing me right here in this little pop-up box. I don't know exactly what this is called, like a hint or something. It's showing that it would have skeleton attached to it. But if that's the case, then that is bad, because we don't use the namespace time skeleton clickable card list. We cut out the skeleton and we just put time clickable card list. And this is in dir check, and the adder name string is, let's mark this so 307 client 307. Okay, now let's go highlight adder name string, and let's go to the top here and see. Well, actually we can just do adder name, adder name string equals. Let's go to the first instance of that. Okay, so adder name string is passed to it, to dir check. I'm just gonna look at all 34 of these. And this is actually line 304, 307. Okay, so this is saying if adder name string is equal to card group data. Okay. If string, adder name string is equal to skeleton clickable card list, or adder name string is equal to skeleton clicked cards list. If adder name string is equal to clicked skeleton clickable card list, associated timestamp equals current game dot time clickable card list. Okay. And then the associated timestamp though is used right here. If other client bool is equal to false and associated timestamp is less than received timestamp float. So it is indeed expecting this timestamp value to be in the format of time clickable card list. So the question is, whenever we create this timestamp and whenever it's checked, it needs to be in that format. It needs to not have the skeleton name attached to it. False associated timestamp is less than. So this one right here, 247. If other client bool is equal to false and associated timestamp is less than a received timestamp float. And what is, this is for receive, yeah. So if other client bool is equal to false and the associated timestamp, which is the local timestamp, is less than, which means it's before, yeah, that's the correct format. If it's before the received timestamp float, then that means apply it. So let me just put a little note here that says if local associated timestamp is lesser earlier than incoming timestamp, which is receive timestamp float, okay, and that's the last place it's mentioned at. I hate how it does that. Whenever you go to the search bar and do Control Z to undo, it doesn't undo only in the search bar. It will actually go back to the file and modify the file. So I have to find the place where this is changed, the time clickable card list, and we thought we found that here. We found in data transfer function we have the current time, and that is called every time we make any modification to a custom time list via the append, pop, or clear method. We call data transfer function. Okay, so here we go. So we pass in the cal object, game object, and then the cal tube. So let's order this. So we have client, which is dir check. Let's just go from the time it's changed to the time it's checked. So the time that it's changed, when we change it, this is going to happen here in custom time list, either the append, pop, or clear method. So let's just assume the append method first, and the second cal to index element is the adder name string, and that is in the format of including skeleton at this point. So now let's go here to change attribute list, and so the cal tube in this case is going to be your 012 index at 2, or the third element. So let's verify that. Yeah, so we have the cal2, this is the first, cal object is the first, the game object is the second, and then the cal2 is the third, okay? And then from there it's at index 1, so it's the third index relative to the it's the third argument passed to the function, and that is correct. cal2 is the third at index 2, and then the adder name string is considered to be cal2 at index 1, so it's the third element in the function call, and it's going to be at index 1, which is going to be the second element in that function call. So let's go back over here where we call the function. So 1, 2, 3 is going to be this cal2, so that's correct. And then the first index 1, which is going to be the second element, that's the adder name string, so it's going to be verified in the skeleton format. So if that's the case, then if we go down here in this little section, it says if game object is not equal to none, it then checks to see if skeleton is in adder name string. So if it is, and actually I already had taken care of this, it says handle skeleton clickable card list and skeleton clicked cards list to chop off skeleton from the namespace for the time2 timestamp, since we don't handle those in terms of skeleton namespaces. So this is all coded correctly so far, and then it sets the adder name string equal to adder name string 9 onward, which cuts off skeleton, skeleton, which is 8, and since it's starting at well, we want to cut off the underscore too, so then that's 9. But if that's the underscore is the 9th element, then we want to start at the 10th, and since indexing starts at 0, then 9 onward is correct in terms of index. Okay, that's all correct then. And if that's the case, we then set the attribute of the game object at the okay, so this is actually not coded completely correctly. So for these two, and this is the whole thing I was concerned about. I'm glad I went through and did this because this is bugged. As you can see, whether it's a skeleton in the adder name or not, we go ahead and set the attribute of the game object at the time, because call it the time attribute. We set that time attribute to the current time. But in this case, only in this case, with skeleton clickable card list and skeleton clicked cards list, we don't set the time attribute directly. We actually would want to set in terms of the time list, the time list dict, because if you remember, and I know it's very like convoluted, it's a very intricate process, but you can see right here, if adder name string is equal to skeleton clickable card list or adder name string is equal to skeleton clicked cards list, we check to see if the adder name string is equal to one or the other, and then we set the associated timestamp. Well, I'm sorry. This part would make you believe that we would set it directly, but we actually assign this value up here at the very top of this same function. And that is assigned through accessing the time lists dict. So currently, if we want this variable or this attribute to reflect the most up-to-date value, we would have to access this dictionary value, because that's how we're supposed to be assigning it. Now the question is, should we update it through the continue to update it through the dictionary? And I remember there was a reason I did that. Or should we just do it directly as we do all of the other ones? So we're gonna say below 2 lines, 26, 24. Should we assign? Should we continue to assign this value via the dictionary, or should the dict be scrapped in favor of direct time adder assignment? Could this be done? Is there a valid reason to continue using dict, or do we have to use the dict? That's the question. Because I know there was a reason we used it in the first place. It's been a really long time since I implemented that though, so we might be able to actually modify. We might. We'll see. I'm gonna put currently this is bugged. The next line assigns the timestamp val for these two special adders directly instead of via the dict. And then we're gonna put currently debating on whether we should modify this code or remove the associated dict altogether. And I gotta take a little break here. I'll be back in a couple minutes. let's try to get some more done here. Okay, so we have to figure out what the next step's gonna be, whether or not we can just nix that dictionary altogether, or if there's a good reason for it. I think that was an old implementation. I don't think we actually need that dictionary anymore. Alright. Okay. So I think I'm gonna end up getting rid of that dictionary, which is cool because I actually hate that thing. It's like a middleman that I don't think is necessary, and it's kind of confusing actually for some reason. Okay. Let me find it. So what is it called? It's called the time list dict. And see, why do we need it? Let's see. I know that we use it, obviously, but do we actually need it, or is this is like an old thing that we don't actually need anymore? So let's go to data transfer function that's in this file, and okay. So we don't actually use the dictionary, honestly. We reference it when we check the value, and we use it to initially assign, like, we create it initially at the beginning of the custom time list instance, or I'm sorry, it's actually in game now, or Well, it always was. So this dictionary is just a reference to the two timestamp variables. And the only two namespaces that we access it by is through timelist_dict or through the time adders dictionary. And I don't think that we need, like, we don't need it. We can just directly assign these timestamp values. Yeah, there's literally no reason to have the dictionary. Like right here, it would set it just like it sets all the other ones. It would set the game object's time adder, which is what the dictionary references anyway. It just updates the actual attribute instead of updating it via the dictionary value. And when we reference timelist_dict in the other places where it's accessed, which is in dircheck, this is when we're receiving. We assign the actual value, that timestamp attribute, based on that dictionary entry. But if we just updated the attribute directly, whenever we modified the attribute, like we do all the other ones, where we don't use a dictionary, then we wouldn't even have to run this line, because this attribute would already be updated. And that's what this is doing right here. It's updating the attribute to reflect what the attribute should be. Yeah, we don't need this. We don't even need it at all. So I have to make sure though I remove all of these, let's see. Time adders dict, I gotta remove all instances of that, and remove all instances of time lists dict. And let me just triple check this real quick, make sure I'm not confused. I'm quite certain I'm not. If the dir is equal to game and receive bool is equal to true, and other client bool is equal to false. Yeah, this is fine. This is this is not necessary. We don't need it. Because right here, the associated timestamp is the actual attribute, and that's all we'll need. Whenever we're receiving in terms of it, which is the only time we ever need the timestamp anyway, is we'll check it, the name, we grab the associated timestamp based on the actual attribute here. This actual attribute will get updated right here whenever we call setAdder. Yeah, so that is indeed the proper way to do it. Yeah, so we can get rid of it. All right, so let's get rid of this. We're gonna remove these two lines. So that file is good. Let's go over here. Get rid of these two lines. So actually that means we can get rid of these are updated via their dictionary, so we have to type in the actual country timestamp to the associated date value timestamp. I don't know why we did that before. We might not have had a good reason. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't, but it was kind of confusing, and I'm glad to be rid of it. So this is gone as well. This timeless dict is completely out of here. They're both there. My eyes are just like not working apparently. So it was right in front of my face. And now we can get rid of this. What is this called? A parameter? Whatever it's called. We can get rid of it. We still need that comma. Okay. But do we need the ID anymore? So, custom time list. Alright, so now we're gonna have to get rid of all these letters sticked. So that's out of here. This one is gone. We don't need it anymore. That is out of here. Isn't that what it does? It appends to the proper change attribute list. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what it does. So that's a better description of what it does. So we're gonna change. No results found. Is that was really it? No, there's more. What was this? The namespace that we used before? That we just searched for? Time adders dict. Is that really it? Okay, so apparently I removed all of them. Okay, I remember what I wanted to check. What do we need the ID for then now? So that's just used to assign the game object. Okay. Okay, so we do still need that. I just wanted to make sure about that. Okay, yeah, so we're done with that. We finished. That was kind of painful. But now whenever we modify this attribute, it's going to happen through this timeless method, the append, pop, or clear. It's going to call the data transfer function, and it's going to pass in the adder name skeleton plus. And then changed attribute list data transfer function is going to access that and then chop off the skeleton part of it via right here. If game object is not equal to none. If skeleton is in adder name string equals adder name string. Okay, and then it's gonna set the attribute. In this case, it would be time clickable card list or time clicked cards list. And then it's gonna get checked whenever it's received right here. And this is gonna happen locally when it's changed. So this attribute should indeed be the updated attribute. So whenever we do the comparison right here against the received timestamp float, that would be correct. There would be no discrepancies there. It would access the proper timestamp. Yep, because that is the game object. This is the same game object here. Here rather. Yep. Okay, done. That was a little like that was kind of confusing. I hated that dictionary. It was very stressful from the time I created it. I remember like I hated that thing. Anyway, it wasn't that complicated. It's convoluted. It's the best way to describe it. So game time list dig, ensure proper logic, etc. Ensure mutable dig values below are properly assigned. So we nixed the time list dict. We nixed it completely. So let's go to devlog and we'll just record that. So this is to 411. We're gonna say that we completely removed the game time list dict. Which was a dict containing the two timestamp vals for skeleton clickable card list and skeleton clicked cards list. The timestamp values are modified directly as are the others. Through data transfer function. Reviewed all associated logic and everything looks great. So yeah, it does look good. I think we did it correctly. Now we're moving to the next task, which is gonna be what? Let's see. So the game custom time the circular import. So that was a branching task from this one, which we finished this game custom timeless circular import. Yeah, we did that. That's done. Okay. Are now modified directly, as are the others. Okay. So now we can continue on the debugging process, or we can work on one of these other pressing issues that we had. One of the big ones is client side to server side data not sent to the other client. Timeout, don't forget to, okay, that's a small one. Other play cards invisible, right? Okay, so that's the only pressing issues we have. But I think we said we're gonna put this one off for a while, So I think I'm going to continue game testing. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to open up these two scripts, or two more terminals rather, and make sure we're in the correct directory. So we need to change directory to Canasta/main. You can copy that and then do Control down or Alt down to go to the next terminal, and then do the same thing again. And now we can go back to the first one. Oops. Hit the wrong button here. Now I can do pi server.py to run the server script. Okay, so you can see it's accepting client, so it looks like it's waiting for a client. And now let's try and open up the client. Wow, this is the first time I've seen this screen happen since we did the 6-month review refactor. Let's another one. And I'm gonna actually copy this, but okay, so it does have a 4-second delay at the very beginning of the game. But I'm pretty sure something's up because it shouldn't take that long. What happened to the other one? Did it? Okay, so this one is not responding. One of them stopped responding. Okay, and we have a bug, so it crashed. Alright, so let's go ahead and open this terminal segment up a little bit more. We have if name is equal to main try. Okay. Then we have server to bind to server to listen, start accepting clients. We have the two clients. They did get connected, as you can see right here. That worked. That's good. That's the first step. Getting the thing going with the clients. Now it's ran setup, server side, created double deck, and then verified send the ID. Verify send. Verify send. What is that? Why is that when verified send ID equals 1? Is very send for receive verification? Let's see where that comes from. So this is in client, but we're going to be looking on server because that's where this came from. Okay. We have client ID, very send, and then verified send ID. Okay. So is this for receive? Let's see. Where is this happening at? Like, what part of the process is this? Okay, so this is receive. We're receiving. Alright. I don't want to read those notes. Alright. So we receive it, and then now it says if type of core data is equal to list, check this again to avoid checks this again to avoid coding this section twice. So below say removes fulfilled send request. Logs the send ID prior to sending. So Removes fulfilled resend requests. Checks the associated send data storage to see if received send ID matches any resend request. Send IDs that we previously requested. If so, removes that resend request from associated sent data storage dig, since we have now verified that we have received the data from that resend request. For key and sent data storage dig to copy, if type sent is equal to string, if dig val's element is a resend request. Okay, I see. What if what we received is a requested resend, and we're verifying. We're getting that out of our sent data storage digs to verify that we did receive it. Then we say pre-serialized data equals current client.id receive verification send ID send ID equals current client ID receive verification send ID and the send ID. And we create the data, which is pickle dumps pre-serialized data. Okay. If it's a list, what does that mean? Doesn't that mean it's a changed attribute list? I'm just trying to follow exactly here. Okay. If type of core data is equal to list. Okay, so this is just a receive verification that we're sending to the other side. They sent us some data, we received it, and now we're just letting them know, hey, we received that data you just sent us. Okay. So that's what this pre-serialized data is, and this data is, etc., etc. This is with con lock, con.sendAll. And ID, and send ID. It's naming though, verifications. Why don't we just say receive verification send instead? Let me know. So we're gonna change this to be receive verification send. And the verified send ID. That there we go. Okay, so we receive we send out the receive verification, and then it's showing us what we actually received. So we received the receive change attribute list containing a huge number for the that's the timestamp in nanoseconds, then the dir string, and the name. Then this is the data. This is gonna be C1 to C1 apply counter. So that's going to be the apply ID or whatever we call it. Okay, and then we have this data change, which is the second one in line. And it looks like it's correct. And then we have the second. The apply counter is at 2 now because it's the second data point change. Okay, and then we have a non-connection error, which says we lost connection to the client. Somehow we lost connection to the client. And how did that happen? I'm not sure. Let's try to figure this out. How did we lose our connection to the client? So it says time of crash. Let's check the time of crash for the client. They do have it. So we have at line 651 in threaded client. Received cal 2 plus sort to okay. Sort to timestamps and server side receive. Can't just use counter. Okay. So something happened there. And it says tuple index 0. Tuple index is out of range. Okay. Okay, so then it tried to start again. And why did it keep reassigning this change attribute list? Let's keep running for another. Test verification to log to ensure var mod in other files is being reflected here. So we're just verifying to ensure var mod other files is being reflected here. And what is it normally? It's normally set to none. So it is on server side, so it should be SS. Ah, but there's a problem here because it's showing SS on the client side, but it should be CS. And this is from line 111. Oh, okay, so it's working correctly. I just put this, wrote it out, the log out incorrectly. So that actually is working as it should. Cool. Okay. So that at least is a good sign. That means the SS or CS system is working as we intended. I will leave that just in case, just to test a little bit more. Set up, create double deck. Try accept. Okay, so this one crashed after. So it was either the server or the client one that initially crashed. So let's just look real quick. Let's finish looking at the server one first. So it received waiting for the other player, and then we crashed. And the crash, it says it's associated with line 651 and third client, received cal tupless.sort. So we're sorting the received cal tupless, and we're sorting it via the timestamp, and then it's throwing an error because it says that index is out of range. So let me go to that line real quick. Let's go to server and let's go to 651. Isn't that what it is? 651. Okay. So that I would think that possibly the issue here is that we're expecting this list to be populated. It might not actually be populated. So are we assuming that it's populated? Let's go. Okay. So I think that might be the issue here is we have if ready, which means if we have anything to receive that, and then yeah, so we're receiving it, but apparently this cal tupless is not populated. So we have if ready. Current component ID is equal to 1. Okay. We assign ink data. Okay. Receive all this stuff. We're assigning the receive data ID. Okay. Current client ID is equal to 1. If type coordinate is equal to lists, and that is the case. Send data storage dict, receive data storage dict, receive time, receive time, C1 receive change attribute list. Okay. Score data, receive change attribute list, self dot C1 receive change attribute list. Received cal tupless equals C1 dot receive C1 received cal tupless. Receive verification send ID equals 1-to-1 send ID. Okay. Well, shouldn't that be the receive ID?
Dream, a lie, a kiss, a cry, I right, I'm wrong.
Okay, so we just use send ID. We don't use receive ID. But I'll. It's been a minute since I looked at this code here, but I'm a little bit confused by this last section I just looked at right here. Spend time looking at that. What was it? It was line 651. It's a server on the wrong file. Doofus. Okay, so this is for when we receive. Then we have the receive verification send ID. Okay, because we're about to send out the receive verification. Gotcha, I'm an idiot. Okay. Okay, so far I'm following here. It's going to be the same thing, but for 2. Now, if core data is equal to list, send data storage, take copy. Send data storage, take a copy. Okay. For key and sent data storage, take copy. If type of sent data storage, take copy at key at 2 is equal to string. So if we sent out a resend request, right? Okay, so this wouldn't apply in that case. So then this is in case of receiving. Receive verification. Well, no, this would be the case because it was a list. But not, it wouldn't find this to be true. Okay, pre-serialized data equals current client ID, receive verification, send ID. Okay, so this just sends out our receive verification. I'm following that so far. Okay, so that's easy. Continue. Now we have receive data storage dict at send ID equals receive data. Okay, so we're storing it. And if current client ID is equal to 1, we set C1 receive data equal to reset. So we reset all these values because we've already applied them. Then we have if receive data ID is equal to current client ID. Okay. Received data ID is equal to current client ID. Okay. I'm following all this. This is easy. Okay. Now it says for tube and receive change attribute list. So this is definitely going to be populated because we just received the receive change attribute list as demonstrated right here. Right here. This is actually right, yeah, this is at line 642. It tells us the receive change attribute list that we just received. So that's the printout for this line right here. Then we get our crash. Okay. And that says it's because of, so this, let me just pause right here. So we're going back to the script for tube and receive change attribute list, which should be populated, right? Because we're appending to the received cal tube list. Okay. And then we go to sort the received cal tube list. Okay, I think I see. So something happened, we lost connection to the client, but the main thread continued to work, which is, well, no, this is a threaded client actually, I'm tripping. Is this at the correct? I think I see what's going on here. I'm not positive, but I want to say what's happening here is it is trying to check a list that I guess is not populated because we have if ready, and this is for if something is ready to be received, but it might not be a change attribute list. And as far as the indentation goes, we still go ahead and assume that we received a received change attribute list. But in reality, just because we received something, that doesn't mean it's a received change attribute list, right? But we did assign the received change attribute list in this case, or else that would have been the error. Okay, yeah, so that doesn't actually matter. Okay. Yeah. I think I might have figured it out. Yeah, so let me just verify this. So only if it's a list do we assign that. But once we assign that, it's assigned. So then if we make another iteration through this loop, because this whole thing is a big loop that happens over and over again, it will still consider the received change attribute list to be this received change attribute list object. But if we have already like applied that data and then depopulated the received change attribute list, Okay, I'm at an impasse here. I'm not following with I'm not able to figure out what the issue was specifically reading all that. So I'm gonna look at this now, client 1, see if maybe this will give me a hint. Maybe it was the client that actually caused the crash, and then the server shit was just like derivative of that. Okay. Okay, so we get a main try except time by end. So we get to the end of the file. So why did that happen? Let's see. 423 in module. For key and dictionary. Dictionary changed size during iteration. It's probably that simple. Okay. So it's probably just this simple. I needed to review that other code anyway that I was looking at on the server a little bit, but I'm an idiot. I should have just jumped straight here. I shouldn't have like zoomed in on that. I should have looked at each the server, client 1 and client 2 before I decided, you know, where to look next. That was a mistake. I wasted like 5-10 minutes looking at that. So for key and dictionary, let's go to 423 and client. So let's actually just open up client here, and we're gonna go to line 423. Okay. We have length of dictionary is greater than 0. Key in dictionary. Okay. Delete dictionary key. Ah, okay. So this is real simple. I actually have to make a copy of this. So. Okay. So even. Wait a second. For dictionary and current client .c1 to c1 received data storage dot copy. Alright, I'm gonna take a little break right here. Quite certain it's a little bit of break time. I'm feeling kind of sleepy. I'm probably gonna stop here soon. I actually don't feel very great today. I think I caught a little cold from the kids. They're always sick, you know, kids, especially with school just started, so like I feel a little under the weather today. I'm pretty sure I caught something from them because I just don't feel like 100%. I have a tiny bit of a sore throat. I don't really feel bad per se. I don't feel terrible. I just don't feel great, you know. I feel like low energy and just kind of bummy feeling, and I'm pretty sure that's because of what I caught from the kids. Or assuming I caught from the kids, who knows where I caught it. But anyway, I'm gonna take a little break. I'll be back, and I'm probably gonna quit here shortly. Okay, I'm just gonna do a couple more minutes. I'm pretty much done here. Um, so let's try to figure this out here. We have um, how long was this for? An hour 56. Okay, so it's 2 hours. That's perfect, actually. That's what I wanted to do. So yeah, we're done. Current client ID is equal to 1. So we create a copy here. For dictionary and current client C1 to C1 received data source dot copy. We create copies of these. Then we say if the length of the dictionary is greater than 0. Then we iterate through the dictionary. We say the core data equals dictionary at key at 2. Okay, and then if type of the core data is equal to enter, type of core data is equal to string. Okay. If current time minus dictionary at key at -2 index to receive time. So current time minus dictionary at key at 2 is greater than or equal to 280. What the fuck is this 280 about? What is that? $280? What is 280? This what is the 280? I remember this, but I just can't remember why it's 280, like what this represents. But anyway, so if the current time minus the dictionary, the receive time, if it's been such and such time since this dictionary key time, the received time, we delete the dictionary. Oh, okay, so this is 280 seconds. Right. I got you. 280 seconds to 280 equals seconds until we remove entry. Yeah, I think that's like good enough. Anyway, just in case I forget what the 280 stands for again. Right there. We delete the dictionary at key, but we actually want to delete it from the original dictionary. Yeah, we. Okay, I see what we have to do here. So we actually messed this up here. Create a copy of this. We don't create a copy here. We create a copy we would create a copy of the dictionary right here, and then we would delete from the actual dictionary. So to delete from the actual dictionary, we don't want a copy here. We want the copy to be actually here for key and dictionary.copy. Okay. And I'm just gonna put review starting here, and then I'm gonna put review ending here. Review ending here. 624. So we do the same thing here. So this is the dictionary, the actual, then we check the length of the dictionary, then we start to iterate through the copy, and then we get the value from it, and then if it meets a certain criteria, we delete the dictionary key value pair. That's correct now, so we're modifying the copy. Okay. So we're done. I'm not gonna just put 504. Continue game tests. 1, 2, and figured out the source of the bug. Fixed it, but did not test to actually ensure it is fixed. Alright, and then 505. So we're gonna stage commit and push these changes that we made. It was an okay session. Like, I'm kind of tired. I'm not honestly, so I'm just not like feeling it, you know. It's one of those days. So this was an hour and 15 minutes, and then we had 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours and 15 minutes. An hour and 15 minutes. It's 3.5 hours, right? 3.5 hours. That's really good, actually. Good time-wise, anyway. Not the greatest progress, not like my best, but you know, for feeling a little bit under the weather, I'm happy with it. Check the branch. Should run the right branch. Secondary, that's the branch we want to work from. So let's cd out to the root directory to ensure we're adding all of and now at the root directory. So now we can do git add dot those LF warnings. We do git commit dash m double quote to begin our commit message. Now we're gonna paste that in and double quote to close it. Made our new commit. Files changed. 45 insertions, 37 deletions. Okay. And now we're gonna do git push Canasta secondary. Put to this repository, and everything worked. So that's done. We can go ahead and close this out. Open this up. Programming projects Canasta. We're gonna copy this. We're gonna back out. We're gonna go to back. We're gonna do the old one. Going to extend the new one. And we're gonna go into this. We're gonna go to text, devlog, and let's go to the end here to verify the date, and it is the 26th, so that is correct. Back out, and now we're gonna rename the name of the folder with the updated date. So of the last time it was backed up, which was today, the 26th. And that's it, guys. So I'll see you next time. You have a good one, and hopefully I feel a little better tomorrow. We get some more coding done and get closer to the actual game testing, man. Without the bugs, it's gonna be a long road to bug all this. I already know. That's just the way it is. It's a lot of changes we made over like 6 months without testing the game. This is 6 months of code modifications without actual debugging. I just did server overhaul, like code overhaul with no bug testing, no running any scripts. So this is all brand new. Um, so hopefully it's not so bad, but wish me luck, and we'll be finished with this